Hey guys, Pastor Morse here, and it's day 9 of our 10 days of prayer. Have you been blessed over the past 8 days? I know I have. So if you have a testimony of how God has blessed you through the 10 days of prayer, shoot us a message on Campion's Church Facebook page. We would love to hear how God is moving in your life. Today, we'll be looking at the censer that the high priest would carry as he entered both the holy and the most holy place of the sanctuary. Leviticus 16 verses 12 and 13 says, "Then he," that's Aaron, "shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from the altar before the Lord, with his hands full of sweet incense, beaten fine, and bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat that is on the testimony, lest he die." Now, what's interesting to note is that this would have been the first time that Aaron officiated in the most holy place. It is also interesting to note that it was the first time that he wore the holy garments. I can only imagine how humbling this must have been. According to the Talmud, the high priest spent the entire week preceding the Day of Atonement in prayer and meditation, carefully preparing his heart and mind for the ministry that was before him. With the inner veil drawn aside, incense alone separated Aaron from the sacred presence of God. Can you imagine? I've been thinking about this all week, about the reverence that the high priest had as he came before God. He was literally in the presence of God. So I ask you, do you believe that we come into the presence of God each week as we come into the church? It has challenged me as I think about the way we enter the sanctuary today. Does it matter? How we present ourselves before God, does it matter? I believe it does. And when I think about this, I'm thankful for the promise in Hebrews 7:25 that says, "Therefore, he is also able to save to the uttermost those who come to God through him, since he ever lives to make intercession for them." Are you thankful for our high priest, Jesus Christ, our intercessor? I know I am. But we have to ask the question, what is he, Jesus Christ, saving us from besides our sin? Well, Ephesians 6, verses 10 through 13 says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore," Paul was speaking to the Ephesian church back then, but prophetically he speaks to you and to I when he says, "Take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all, to stand." Now, as I read this and I think about this, it reminds me of a story of my childhood experience when I had just entered middle school. I think it was like 6th grade. And I was sitting on some bleachers in the gymnasium right before we were dismissed to go to class. And I was sitting there, and there was these older students. I think they were in 8th grade, and they were kind of some bullies. It's kind of a funny story, but I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I realized someone took my wallet. And there's this guy next to me I didn't even know that well, and he stands up and he goes up to these guys, and there's like 3 or 4 of these big guys, and he goes up to him and he grabs the wallet. They took my money out of my wallet. I think I only had $1 in there, but he goes up to him and he stands before them and he says, "Look, leave my friend alone." He grabs the wallet, he walks back to me, and he hands me my wallet. Now, I will tell you, that was an incredible experience for me, and I have never forgotten that to this day. In fact, that guy, that friend, Marcus, is still one of my best friends to this day. Just as he stood up to those bullies, Jesus Christ stands up to Satan and stands up against his accusations against us. Aren't you thankful for Jesus Christ, who stands in intercession before God the Father and between God the Father and us, so that we can come boldly to the throne? I want to challenge you to something. Well, tomorrow marks the close of our 10 days of prayer. Is there any reason why we should stop interceding for each other in our daily prayer? I'll leave that up to you. But my prayer is that this is only the beginning of a revival of prayer on our campus. I love that promise. I want to claim this right now. I love that promise in 2 Chronicles 7:14. "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, pray and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land." I think I speak for all of us when I say I'm ready for God to heal our land. May the Lord richly bless you as you continue in your journey with him. Godspeed.